Hello and welcome to official Xbox 360 Magazine's OXM Report, and this week we're talking to IO Interactive about Hitman Absolution, which is a darker, more violent take on the silent assassin.
So I'm here with Christian Elverdam, who's the gameplay director on Hitman Absolution. So what situation does 47 find himself in at the start of this game?
Well, Absolution is a personal journey for 47. He has just killed his old handler, Diana, and she has tasked him to find a girl called Victoria. And as we can see in our demo here, there are other interests looking for her as well. So things are about to get a little bit violent.
And this orphanage level is quite early in the game, right? Tell me a little bit about that sort of situation.
Well, yeah, obviously we're introducing some of the main antagonists in the game. You have Blake Dexter, a self-made businessman who is also, for some reason, looking for Victoria. For 47, everything about this is actually unknown at this point. But he's sending Wade, one of his go-to guys in these situations, and Wade is maybe the opposite of everything 47 stands for, because he's coming to that orphanage with a vengeance, right? And he's basically tearing the place apart. And throughout that situation, 47 will have to figure out how to deal with that and see if he can find Victoria.
There's a big focus in games at the moment with sort of tuning up the action so that it stands alongside other elements of the game. I mean, Hitman's broadly considered a stealth game, but have you had to tune the shooting to make it more sort of what players these days are expecting?
Definitely. I mean, we wanted to do that. We wanted, as I said, to make it feel like the arsenal that 47 has at this disposal is full circle. So obviously enhancing disguises and stealth-like techniques, but also being serious about, pointing a weapon and shooting it should feel like you are a trained assassin, that you know what you're doing. And this is where we really wanted to improve. So I think it's a style choice, always what you want to do. And even if you screw up, I mean, if you're playing on some difficulty levels that challenge you, you might end up shooting people, right? And you might end up in a firefight. If you're good about it and you have a silenced weapon, that can be a very brief and very, violent burst, and then it's done, and you can kind of contain the situation if you're careful about it. But you still have to feel like aiming and shooting feels like you would expect it from a game these days, right? So we paid a lot of attention to that.
It felt like Blood Money had a sort of more whimsical tone, you could dress as a clown, things like that, and this feels a lot darker. I mean, there's some really harrowing stuff in that orphanage level. Has the game lost its sense of humour? I
would say not. I hope you don't think so. As we also showed in the E3 demo, we have hippie apartments and all that stuff. I think the story and the setting of the game has a darkness to it. And we like dark humor. It's definitely not lost its humor. We have a lot of weird items for you to find, and we have a lot of different disguises you can try to find in the game, right? So no, it's definitely still there.
It feels like you guys kind of flirted with that darker tone in Hitman Contracts, the game before Blood Money. Do you think there were kind of successes and failures there that you've taken on board for this one?
I think as a whole, what we did is actually look a lot at the whole franchise legacy, figuring out what was working and what wasn't working, what would we like to play around with. I think actually that whole notion of you have a theme, it's getting to be quite established what a Hitman game is, right? So you take themes, elements you want to play around with, and then we reinterpret them, right? I think a big chance for us was building Glacier 2, which the game is now running on, which is the first game coming out on that engine, which meant we could actually take, stuff like blending in with disguises and trying to improve these elements and make them feel more like up to date, if you will. That was a big part of building Absolution.
So you guys have shown a couple of playthroughs of The Orphanage, one which was very violent, one which is a little more professional, but even that professional one wasn't worthy of a silent assassin rating. Nope. What do you have to do to get that? Well,
first of all, you have to only kill your target, right? And obviously we discussed quite a bit whether we should show Silent Assassin for this, but actually we don't want to spoil it. It's going to require some practice for you. It's going to probably for a lot of people it means actually replaying the level a few times, figuring out exactly where people are going, and obviously you also have to remove evidence from the locations you're in. So also that is a little bit of a puzzle that you have to solve. So remaining completely unseen and only taking out your target, and that puzzle is something we'll leave for players to actually figure out.